Hello, hi. So it's Ashia again, and I am back to talk about another musing as a part of my Uninspired Ramblings of Pure Inspiration series. And so, as I said in my initial video, I get musings from various places and they just kind of come to me in different moments. And this is actually a more current one that I wanted to go ahead and talk about now that came as a result of it's based on a comment that I saw in the comment section of a video of two of my favorite YouTubers. These are two ladies who I follow both of their YouTube channels, and I'm also subscribed to their Patreon. They, I think, provide really thoughtful analysis about topics that I'm interested in and would love to learn about, but I don't have the time and bandwidth to research them. So being able to follow two folks who are thoughtful in their analysis, provide sources, provide, insights that go deeper than just here are my thoughts, is really helpful and really nice. And so those two ladies are Julesy, who I've been following Julesy on YouTube since 2016, which is when I really just first started watching people on YouTube. And then the other person is Stephanie, whose channel is Allegedly Stephanie. I'm going to link to them both below. Check them out. If you like their content, give them a follow. Like I said, I think it's thoughtful, well-researched analysis on a lot of topics. And so I appreciate that. And this musing came as a result of a comment that I saw in one of their recent videos. And so I wanted to talk through it. So let's get into the musing. So here is the musing. So I was watching a Patreon video with Julesy and Stephanie, and someone in the comments said that if we aren't working to liberate everyone, then we're not really trying to make change. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially, and so this is a longer, more nuanced musing, because I see people saying online that we all need to be willing to educate everyone we're in community with to level the awareness playing field and improve our collective material realities. If we're doing the work of liberation and educating ourselves about the true state of the world, but not going back and educating everyone in our purview, that we're doing a disservice to them and are being classist or elitist. So that's the musing. The question that I had was, how do you educate someone who still believes in the system? As you may be someone who is starting to question and, think beyond the systems in which we currently live. How do you bring up these topics of change and liberation at the family cookout or the family gathering? Do you grab the mic from the DJ and make a long-winded announcement? Do you add everyone to an email chain and bombard them with, political or community-based news? What do you do? So again, I ask, what do you do? When you have decided as a person that you want to go out and educate yourself about the systems and the structures and the things in which we exist, and then you start to realize that what you thought you knew about the world and what the world meant was incomplete. Because I won't say that it was necessarily incorrect, because it really, I don't know that that's incorrect, because people are existing in a truth. What I see in those instances is that the truth is partial. So the truth is only considering one perspective or one point of view. And if we're going to truly, which is why I use finger quotes when I said true, when I was reading over the musing, because it's like what people define as true is their truth. Sure, but if their truth does not consider the truths of other people who are experiencing the same thing, but from a different point of view, then your truth is incomplete. So it doesn't mean that it's false necessarily. It does mean that it's incomplete, and you're only focusing on a piece of the picture. And so when you start to take on that work yourself for your own, edification, you have to realize that when you do that work, you are shifting your worldview, which is the vision you have as you move through the world. And you have to think about the effort and the intention and the work that you took to learn those things, process them, and then, use them to inform how you experience the world. And then think about the folks who you're in community with who may not be doing the work in the same way, or may not be doing that work at all because they are fine with their worldview. Usually, if you start trying to do research and trying to really understand things, or, engaging with people who are having these conversations, I like to think it's because you may feel like something isn't quite, like I feel like the picture of my truth is incomplete. And so I would like to complete the picture to give me a well-rounded point of view. That's what I like to think happens. And I feel like it happens in different ways. And so the framing that I'm using is really from my own lived experience. But that was, and then, it took time, it took effort, it took intention. But then you're going to turn to, say your cousin who you all are about the same age. And so you all about the same age, you have very similar lived experiences. But you have started to take that on and have been doing that work for, say, I don't know, the past 5 or 6 years, but your cousin hasn't. Your cousin has just been existing in the worldview that you both shared 5 or 6 years ago. But now you don't share that worldview anymore. So how are you going to introduce your new worldview to your cousin? You may be able to just tell them what you're looking at, share videos with them, send them social media posts that talk about the content or talk about those topics that you've been looking into. And sure, they may watch them and then they may respond, "This is great, but why are you sending this to me?" And so now are you leaving them behind on purpose? Or have you tried, or have you shared the information with them in the way that you receive it, but they are not receiving it that way? And then what next? Then you have to figure out, okay, now I have to figure out, because I do want to help you. I want you to at least understand what I now understand, because I love you, because you're my cousin, and I'm speaking to a familiar relationship where you and the person have a shared love for each other, and it's not a toxic relationship. And so that's the point of view, because I have to flatten some of this in order to make the point, because there's so much nuance when you deal with family and those relationships. So I'm talking specifically about a cousin who is similar in age to you. You both have similar lived experiences, as far as like class wise, professional wise, growing, like you all are similar in that, but you've been doing the work and they haven't. And that doesn't mean that they are not wrong and you're right, because I think that's also what I see happen, is that then people say, well, I'm right. I've been doing this research and I've been reading things and listening to people, and you need to listen to me because I'm right and what you thought and what we used to think is wrong. So how do you say that to your cousin and maintain the relationship and not have them look at you like, why are you talking down to me now all of a sudden? Why have you changed? And then your relationship with that person is altered. But that's someone that you love, and that's your cousin, and you've grown up with them. Like, how do you have that conversation? I'm legitimately asking. And I would love to hear in the comments folks who have been able to have those conversations and have them turn into a situation where now you can have a really good dialogue with that person. Because that is when people say things like, if you're not trying to help, improve everyone's point of view and, improve everyone's, and they say improve or fix or help, that's always in there, which there's a little bit of, paternalism when you say that, because that is operating from the assumption that what you now think and believe is right and what they think and believe is wrong. And so that is also a problem, and that's problematic if that's how you're going to approach things, but also that's going to be problematic to them if that's how you approach them. And so what is your approach? So I would love to hear in the comments, any of you who have done it successfully. How did you do it? Tell us a story of it, because I would like to see it, because I personally know that I've been doing this work. I feel blessed and really appreciate that the people that, and these are largely friends that I'm in community with and have been in community with for at least, 15, 20 years. Like, these are people I've known for a while. And I appreciate that I can have these kinds of conversations with a lot of them. But not all of them are doing the same type of work and the same type of research that I am, for various reasons. Some of my friends have kids, so they don't have time to, watch the videos that I'm able to watch because they are parenting. Some of them may be caregivers. Some of them have different jobs where they are not in a position where they do this type of work that I do, to learn about these things, to engage with information like this. And so we are not all on the same rung of a changed worldview. So they may still have beliefs that aligned with what I used to believe, but now I don't believe that in the same way anymore. And so what am I supposed to do there? Am I supposed to just stop talking to them because we no longer believe the same? Because it's not that what they believe is about basically saying they don't believe that my humanity needs to be respected. I'm not talking about those folks. I'm talking about the folks who still may believe in the system in the way that you don't, because you have changed your worldview, and they may be changing their worldview, but the changes are not happening in the same way at the same time. And I think that piece is important, because when you spend a lot of time online, essentially in an echo chamber created by the algorithm, created by the content that you're engaging with, that you tell the algorithm you want, it's easy to just assume that everybody believes how you believe now, because why wouldn't they? But then you need to step outside and realize that everybody does not believe the way that you do, even people who have your same lived experience. And so you have to reckon with that and then figure out, how do you move through the world now that your worldview has shifted, when you're in community with people whose worldview either hasn't shifted at all, or it's shifting in a different way. So you all are having slightly different experiences with that particular, with whatever system or whatever it is that you all are in the process of, either, because some people are completely dismantling, whereas other people are just tweaking and expanding. And so you have to recognize that when you roll up on people with your advice and your insight and your information, and you have to respect where they are, but they also have to respect where you are. And it's like, okay, I want as people will say, I want for us to be collectively liberated from, some of these things, especially when you're thinking of oppressive systems that are affecting both of you because you have similar lived experiences. But we have to figure out a way to do it together, knowing that we're not necessarily standing on the same rung of the ladder of awareness. I just made that up, but that is kind of how I'm thinking about it. And so that is my musing. And I would love, 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 love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts as, if you're watching this musing, that means that you've probably considered what I'm talking about, and may have also bumped up against this idea of being in community with people who have not considered this, and what that means, and how you can interact with them, and how you can maybe help to expand their worldview. So I would love to hear what have you done? Have you done anything? Has it worked? If it worked, then were you able to sustain it? If you've done something that didn't work, what was that? Because I would love any cautionary tales so that, I don't go out and make mistakes. I'm a fan of learning from the mistakes of others, or not necessarily even mistakes, learning from the experiences of others. And so if you've done something and you're like, that failed miserably, I would love to hear that as well. So let's talk more about this in the comments. Again, please keep the comment section respectful. It's not about demeaning someone or trying to win a conversation. It's just about interrogating our beliefs and doing it in community. So someone may not believe exactly what you do, but it's not your job to tell them that what they believe is wrong. It's just your job to understand why they believe what they believe based on what they said. So I look forward to having this conversation in the comments, and I look forward to sharing more of my uninspired ramblings of pure inspiration in some upcoming videos. Bye.